How's everybody doing?
Yeah. All right, well, let's just get to it. Who's heard of a little show called Game of Thrones? All right, that's what I thought. Well, we know him as King Joffrey Baratheon, one of the most loathsome characters on TV, but he was just so much fun to hate. Please welcome Gleeson.
Thank you very much for coming. Surprised you guys don't have anything else to do, but thank you. Thanks for coming.
So this is your first time at FanExpo.
Correct.
So I was talking to you backstage a little bit, and you've been doing conventions for a few years now. So what's that like for you, coming to conventions and seeing all your fans?
Well, it's funny. I mean, about 3 years ago, I had no idea really what a convention was, or I had no expectations. And then a few friends from Game of Thrones, Finn Jones, who plays Larys Tyrell, he started doing them and said they were so much fun. So I looked into it, and then there was just, it's kind of like pulling back the curtain and like seeing this incredible world that you never knew existed. So it's pretty crazy, and to kind of, I mean, what I like about it is that it's a space where people with interests that usually, you know, they can't have fun with in their day-to-day life can all come, and you can be the characters that you like or meet the characters that you love, and it feels like a very inclusive, like, positive place. So that's what I like about it.
Well, that deserves a clap. Well, speaking of characters, I mean, I think the words loathsome, vile, most hated, you know.
You're not that bad, Megan.
No. I thought we were friends. What's it like for you meeting your fans? I mean, what's the fan reaction like for you playing a character that, people love to hate?
Well, usually kind of people say, like, with a big beaming smile on their face that they hate me, you know, so it's kind of like, like a question I get asked a lot is like, should people like hit you on the street or like yell at you? And I'm like, no, obviously not, you know, it's like, I think if they did that, they should be in an institution of some kind. So I think, you know, everyone I've met, especially here, has just been so cool and so nice. And yeah, they're like, yeah, we absolutely hated you. But then they like, I give them a hug or whatever, and it's all good. So it's kind of like, it's a weird game where you kind of like hate the character, but you appreciate hating the character.
Yeah. I think it's a tricky thing too, to make a character that's still fun to hate and not just you hate them so bad, because I miss your character. I do. It was fun to hate you. Is that something for you when you were, playing this character, something you tried to keep in mind?
Well, I mean, a little bit that I tried to keep in mind as the seasons went on was to try and make Joffrey slightly two-dimensional or three-dimensional, you know, because you could make him just this completely evil, psychopathic child, which he is. Yeah. For sure. I'm not saying he's not, but
let's be honest.
Yeah, to try and see him as a full, real human that's been brought up in this crazy realm that, you know, there's just so much violence and backstabbing and manipulation, and that he's kind of the product of that. So I wouldn't say, I mean, there are some funny moments, I suppose, but he finds things funny that maybe he shouldn't find funny. But so in terms of the character development, maybe just trying to make him more whole. But I don't think he's fun when he's like murdering people.
Yeah. No. Well, we all have our theories about what we think is going to happen at the end of Game of Thrones. So I gotta ask you, do you have any theories?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just got an email from the producers, and they just told me every single plot line. I'll get it up for you now. It's funny, I mean, I feel bad saying it, but I've never, like, kind of consistently watched the show, because when I was in the show, it's horribly awkward and cringeworthy watching yourself on screen. So, like, if anyone has even heard their voice recorded, you're like, is that me? Does that sound like me? I don't sound like that. So that's like that experience times a billion. So, and then, yeah, so I haven't really watched it since I've left the show either, so I don't know. Something to do with dragons, something to do with, I don't know, magic. something with ice and fire.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about it. Something about a throne.
Okay, speaking of
A Game of Thrones. Yeah.
who would you like to see take the throne at the end of the season?
I think it would be cool if like Daenerys had it, just like for like some kind of female empowerment, you know, because obviously Cersei's on the throne now, but she's kind of lame, you know. So kind of like you want a strong woman up there to knock some sense into people, and I think Daenerys is the woman to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think Cersei would like her son talking about her like that.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. So when you were coming up with your character, I read that you took inspiration from Commodus. In Gladiator, who's played by Joaquin Phoenix, was that something that you kind of came up with before going into the audition, or as the character was progressing?
To be honest, it was just something someone asked me in an interview. They said, "Did you have any like influences?" And I didn't. I honestly didn't have any, but I thought that would be arrogant to say. So I just came up. I just kind of made up that I was influenced by. Come on, obviously it's a really good performance and that kind of thing. So maybe subconsciously, I was influenced by it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Commodus, that's a good role.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I feel like there was no one specific character or portrayal, but definitely, you know, I've watched so much TV and films growing up as a kid, read comic books and stories, so I feel like Joffrey is a kind of an amalgamation of all of the kind of horrible bullies and egomaniacal kids that I grew up with, yeah. Not in real life, but fictional worlds.
I can't imagine what it's like being part of a show that is as popular as Game of Thrones. I mean, when did you know that it was getting really popular?
I'm not sure if there was a moment, like, I'm trying to think, I'm not sure if there was a moment. I mean, it's still pretty surreal. I don't think I fully get, I mean, I'm still baffled that people want to come and get something signed by me or come and listen to me talk. So I think I'm still coming to grips with it. So maybe like on my deathbed, I'll kind of get an epiphany and kind of, oh, it was such a big thing. But yeah, when you are able to kind of take yourself out of it and realize the vastness of the show, it's very humbling and you feel very privileged to be a part of it.
Well, we're going to do some questions in just a second. We have Miguel right there in the middle, so if you guys have some questions, get them ready. I'll just do one last question and we'll throw it to the stage. I mean, I'm on the stage, we'll throw it to the audience. Do you miss playing Joffrey?
In some ways, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, like, you know, you get a kind of a confidence boost when you're up on the throne. And obviously, like, when you're not filming, everyone's just the same, or like, you know, for instance, like Charles Dance, like everyone respects him so much because he's such a great actor and so well acclaimed. But then it's kind of cool when like you're filming for 30 seconds and you have 30 seconds of being able to like talk down to like Charles Dance. So, and then you like snap back and you're like, I'm sorry, you're amazing. Yeah. So those kind of moments of power are quite addicting, very addictive. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's go to the first question.
Okay. Since you started acting as Joffrey at such a young age, did you find it emotionally difficult to do the things that you were requested or required to do?
Thankfully not, no. I mean, I was like 17 or 18 when I started the part, even though I looked about like 7 years old. So, I mean, if I was actually 14 or whatever Joffrey's age is, it probably would have maybe affected me a little bit, but I'd been acting for so long and I'd played weird parts before, and I'm not really a good enough actor to actually kind of get emotionally involved with the character. If I was a better actor, then I'd feel like I was creating that character and nothing else existed. But I literally just turn up and read the lines and put on a voice. That's pretty much it. So thankfully I could separate myself.
So torture comes naturally to you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kick him out.
Have you done?
I mean, I suppose I should say yeah, or else I'd seem like a weirdo. But no, like there was one moment where he's kind of like messing around Sansa, and he's getting Sir Meryn Trant to kind of like rip her dress and like slap her around. And obviously it's all make-believe, and you know, 99.9% of the time you're on set, you're just being yourself, and then for this weird kind of minute or 2 minutes you're doing this kind of messed up stuff. So it never feels that real, but sometimes you feel a bit creepy doing that stuff, but they pay me to do it, so you know, whatever.
Okay, Jack, first off, I gotta say it's really weird to see you with dark hair instead of blonde. It's just kind of throwing us all off right now, but it looks fantastic. Secondly, I gotta ask, all the fan accounts are of you just being the nicest guy, so when you were doing script reads for Joffrey, was there ever anything that you were just absolutely disgusted with yourself that you were gonna have to go on camera and actually perform as Joffrey?
Yeah, well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, whenever I read a kind of a weird scene, it was kind of exciting, you know, it's like, as I say, it's all make-believe, so if the director or producer was like, so we're going to film this scene, but to prepare you, you're going to have to actually shoot a prostitute in real life to like get you into the character, then I'd probably be like, that's pretty messed up. But as I say, you know, it's like when you know, I suppose when you guys watch the show, it seems so real and it's so immediate and in the moment. Whereas half the time, if not more, on a film set, you're just waiting around drinking coffee. So you don't get too wrapped up in it. But no, I kind of it's fun to kind of play someone who does such ludicrous things because I don't know, it's just exciting.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Hi. A couple of years back, it said that you were going to quit acting, and then you came out and said that was not true. You're 24 now, I think. What have you been doing since the show ended?
Well, I finished up my degree in philosophy and world religions and theology. It's literally the most useless degree you could possibly do. I don't know why that deserved an applause. So I did that, and then during university I set up a small theatre company with my friends in the Drama Society, and we've been writing and producing and performing shows since 2012 or so. So I'm actually going to New York to perform one of our plays in a few days, which is pretty exciting. So that's been keeping me busy, but for the past year I've been so lazy I haven't been doing anything.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello. I was just wondering, how do you think Joffrey and the other most hated character, Ramsay, would have interacted?
I think Joffrey would have lost. He would lose in any situation. I think he's such a spineless coward that, like, you know, he would definitely be like emasculated instantly by Ramsay. I mean, obviously Ramsay's a pretty weird guy, but I feel like he has a certain level of like egomaniacal self-confidence, whereas Joffrey's confidence is slightly more brittle and could be broken with a single look or stare. And physically, Joffrey would lose every time. Obviously between me and Ewan, I would win every time. Between the characters, Joffrey isn't really that good in kind of conflict situations.
So I was just wondering if your character had somehow survived his attempted murder, do you think it would have maybe changed his character to become a little bit nicer, or try to see the edge of that? So do you think it would have just pushed him? Do you think he could have gotten any worse than he already was in that respect then?
Definitely. Yeah, I think he would have gone crazy. No, I think you know, it's like when you hurt a vulnerable animal, they come back twice as strong as a self-defense mechanism. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, just before he his wedding or whatever, I feel like he definitely was being mollified slightly by Marjorie. She was playing him as just a political pawn, trying to endear him to the public for whatever reason. So I think if that dynamic went along, he would have become slightly more moderate. But after the if he was poisoned and then survived, I think shit would have gone down.
Thank you. Quick question about the poison scene. Is it weird dying on camera?
It's difficult, yeah, it's difficult, because usually you can kind of be like, okay, how would I feel in this situation if I was a crazy person? But no, it's tricky, yeah. It's like, because it's so lame when you see people die and like you can tell they're not actually dying. So I was kind of worried that it would look fake, but they had really cool special effects and they did some like post-production effects on it and that kind of thing. And the director was really helpful, and yeah, I just tried to be as choky as possible.
It was very satisfying for us.
I guess my question is an addendum to the others. I was just wondering if it were up to you, would it have mattered for you to have Joffrey die a different way, or?
Yeah, like would it be different if Joffrey was murdered in a different way? You know, I think it was good that it wasn't. Well, obviously, it was written in a very intelligent way, whereby it was made to look like Tyrion had done it, or certainly in Cersei's eyes, or whatever. It was easy to put the blame on him. So I think that was good, because obviously it set up so much stuff. I mean, as an actor, it would have been cool, I don't know, like jump off a cliff or something, or like skydive down to his death. But in terms of plot, I think it was good that it was such a public forum, and it wasn't clear who actually did it. Because if it was clear, then it would all be wrapped up a lot easier. But the fact that there were questions and it was, you know, Cersei just kind of going, just putting the finger on her brother, I think it led to a lot of cool plot points.
Thank you.
Good question.
Hello, I'm Wednesday. I'd like to ask, seeing how your character didn't really have a good relationship with the other characters on screen, how was your relationship with the rest of the cast, especially people like Sophie Turner, who played such a important role?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, we got on really, really well. You know, she's really cool. I haven't seen her so much of late, but when we were filming, we got on really, really well. I don't know, we both have like goofy personalities, and like we don't take ourselves too seriously. So yeah, and again, it's like back to my point about the reality of actually filming the scenes. It seems like we could never ever talk or lock eyes, you know, because I play Joffrey and she plays Sansa. But in fact, you know, I'm Jack 99% of the time, and she's Sophie 99.9% of the time. And the tiny percentage of time that we're mean to each other, or we have this messed up relationship, is, as I say, complete. It feels completely fake, and we get paid to do it again. So it's not weird at all. It doesn't muddy any kind of relationships. But yeah, the more you spend time with people on set, the closer you become, for sure.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, no worries.
Were you ever intimidated by any of the actors? I mean, it's this huge cast, such great actors and actresses. Is there anyone you were intimidated by when they first came on set?
Yeah, probably Charles Dance. I don't know, just because he's so cool and he's so tall and like he's got this deep voice, but he's actually a big pussycat. And he's a big kid. Like he's a gigantic kid. So that was really cool to just like get to know him. But if you didn't know him, you'd be like, oh my god, he's amazing. Which he is.
I just wanted to ask, was there somebody that you particularly enjoyed working with on Game of Thrones, like an actor you really looked forward to your scenes with?
Well, I really enjoyed acting with Rory McCann, who played the Hound, because he's a great actor, but also because I just really like him as a friend and as a person, and we were constantly in scenes together until he left me. Myself, which I haven't forgiven him for. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I mean, like it's in terms of acting, yeah, like Charles Dance, Peter Dinklage, Conniff Hill, Lena Headey, you know, everyone in terms of acting is the best at what they do. But in terms of friendships, I always look forward to hanging out with Rory, because we just have a lot of fun and joke around, and yeah, we're just quite similar people.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi,
Hi. You said that you were really into movies and comic books and TV shows. Have you ever like fangirled out at one of these expos and forgotten that you're a speaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. You have to act cool, like, you know, you think that, you know, it's like, you know, we get to have lunch in the green room with all the other guests, and it's like, yeah, I'm a massive fan of people just like anyone else, so, but like, you have to be like, oh, hey, what's up, yeah, cool. Bar Wars? What are you in? Oh, Star Wars? I've never heard of that. Oh my god, it's amazing. I was sitting beside Chewbacca Mom recently at a convention, which was a pretty big deal for me. Got a photo, so that was the biggest fangirl moment. I think it was, I was fangirling next to, John Cusack was sitting next to me. I was like, oh my god, it's John Cusack. And then he left, and Chewbacca Mom, and I was like, oh my god, it's Chewbacca Mom. So, I was kind of more impressed with Chewbacca Mom than the incredible John Cusack.
Hey Jack, in the show, you were king under the banner of Baratheon, but you were really a Lannister. I was just wondering, as a fan, what house would you choose, which side are you on?
I mean, as I say, I'm not hugely up to speed on all of the characteristics of the families, but I think Targaryens are pretty cool. I mean, I don't know, like, what are the Targaryens? They're known for just like the dragons, right? Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. Or like, do they have any bad qualities? What's their main positive attribute? What's their main negative attribute?
Well, their negative attribute is they like to burn everything.
They what? They
They
burn
like to
everything?
burn everything.
Burn.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They look cool.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
On everything.
Definitely that.
No, thank you.
Did you ever watch any other episodes and saw your character and think, damn, I hate that guy, or was it just too embarrassing for you?
Yeah, it was too cringeworthy to see myself, like, I mean, sure, on paper, or if you're looking at it from an objective point of view, of course you're gonna like be like, that guy's a douche, but I can't separate myself enough. I just see like every flaw in my acting, or I'm just like, oh, you're an idiot, why are you looking like that, why are you saying like that? So I just think of everything I could have done differently, so I can't really, I hate myself when I watch it. I don't hate the character. That character looks fine in comparison to the self-loathing I have. Yeah. If anyone has a chaise lounge, I can just sit out and we can explore all these emotions together.
But you don't feel that way on set when you're doing the characters. You like trusting the directors, or are you always constantly contemplating how I should do things?
Yeah, constantly just in my head. I'm just like, yeah, it's like action, and I'm like, oh no, I did that wrong. But you have to act cool on the outside. You have to pretend to be Joffrey, but inside I'm like, oh, I'm so bad.
Maybe it just means you care so much.
Maybe that does mean that.
I figured it out.
Hello again.
Hello.
My question is, we talked about how you wanted to, like, who you enjoyed working with. Is there anyone that you haven't worked with that you wish you would, whether it be that they're just cool dudes or girls, or maybe the locations? Some locations are really nice. So
Yeah.
Was there anyone in particular or any place you would really would have loved to film?
So many, yeah. I mean, I would have loved to have gone to Iceland. I mean, I want to go there just anyway as a tourist, because I just think it's such a cool place. I mean, I got to go to some pretty cool places like Dubrovnik in Croatia, got to go to Malta, got to go to Morocco. So I think I was lucky with the locations, but Iceland would definitely be up there. And then for like actors, like, I don't know, I suppose like Alfie Allen, I don't know, it's like I'm kind of friends with him, I've hung out with him a little bit backstage, as the saying goes. So it would be cool to act with him, because with a lot of the actors, or with all of the actors, I was kind of colleagues with them first and acted with them and then became friends, whereas it would be weird if I was friends first and then started acting with them. So it's kind of like, yeah, so you're like, oh, you're just my friend, you know, stop pretending, you know. That kind of thing. So maybe Alfie, Alfie. No worries.
Hi. So which queen did
Joffrey prefer, and which actress did you prefer working with?
Oh my god.
As in the queen of Cersei and Marjorie, or Sophie and
The ladies who married you.
Sansi? Sansi? Sansi.
Ship name.
Like a kind of cute nickname Joffrey would have. It's like texting, hey Sansi. Sansa and Marjorie. Well, like both actresses, I just hated. They just weren't nice to get along with. They're not talented. Above all else, they're ugly. Both of them. I'd be like, are you serious? I have to act in front of this blob of just hideousness. That was a skill in and of itself. But I had to go through training, visualization. But no, I can't pick between them. They're both, both so cool, such cool people, such incredible actresses. One way I suppose like Sophie, I felt like she was like a younger sister, and then like Natalie, I felt like she was like an older sister or something. So there was a similar dynamic of like friendship and closeness and camaraderie. But I don't know. I wouldn't change either of them for the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys.
You redeemed all the mean things you just said about them. That's okay.
Hi, I was wondering if there was any character on Game of Thrones that you would have liked to play other than Joffrey?
So many. I mean, I always said I wanted to play like Hodor because it's just like a cool character. I broke my. No, it's okay. They're cutting me off. I think I'd like, because you don't have to remember lines. It's just that cuts out like 90% of your job as an actor. Obviously Christian does a pretty good job, and I'd have to put on a few feet in height. Who else? I mean, Conor Phil does such a great job as Varys. I think that's a really fun part to play. Or Aidan Gillen as Littlefinger. I like his character because it's kind of creepy. You don't really know. He's enigmatic. So either of those two guys, I think I'd like to play because they're enigmatic and interesting characters.
Would you want to play another evil-ish character like Ramsay, or you're good with the evil Joffrey? The evilness of Joffrey.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with the evil levels. The meter of evil is pretty good. No, I mean, what I wouldn't like to play is like a Ned Stark. It's like, come on, it's like, get over yourself. You know what I mean? Someone said to me today that like Ned was their favorite character, and I was like, nah. It's like he's so boring. He's just like a good guy. Like he can't. Like he's too like, oh yeah, I do the right thing and I care about my family. It's like, come on. Get over yourself. Yeah. No one actually cares about their family, right guys?
Hi, Jack.
You okay?
Abandon your sister.
It's like crying in one eye, I don't know why. Laughing.
Firstly, Jack, I'd like to say that I 100% approve of your degree.
Thank you. It's Jesus, by the way, who's saying this.
Excellent choice.
As I say, I did world religions and theology, so Muhammad, Buddha, Moses, they're all good, But Jesus, it's cool that you're here. It's pretty cool.
It's good to know them all.
Yeah, it's great.
I was hoping that perhaps you could share a story from the set where some sort of practical joke may have occurred or some sort of comical antics occurred with your other co-stars.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm trying to think, there's one kind of anecdote that I tell a lot that you might have heard, but it's basically, let me get it straight in my head. Oh yeah, it's basically Alfie Allen's character, Theon. So David and Dan, who write and produce and create the show, they wrote like a fake death scene for Alfie's character and sent it to him and was like, yeah, I know, obviously it's different in the books, your character stays on, but this is just what we've decided for your character. And he was so annoyed, he was like, frick this, this is bullshit.
I love every censoring himself.
And so that was a pretty good prank that they kind of played on. I think his character is still alive, so they wouldn't kill him. It's pretty cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Praise to Jesus.
Who would you say put most pranks on set? Like, what was the tone like on set?
It depends. Like, it would depend who you were with. You know, sometimes, say if it was just like myself and Lena who plays Cersei, it would be like really nice and like calm. We just chat and talk about our lives. And then, you know, for instance, like Peter Dinklage who plays Tyrion and Connor Thill who plays Varys. Whenever they got together, the antics were running up the wall. I tell you that much. It was a madhouse. No, like they have a very good sense of humor, very sarcastic and sardonic, and they play off each other really well. So sometimes you can just like sit back and enjoy their comedy. But in general, like I loved going to set every day, really chilled out, not too serious, not too jokey. I never felt like there was a bad vibe or people were taking themselves too seriously. So yeah, the most crack, as we say in Ireland, happened, not crack cocaine, but crack. It's fun. The most fun we have is when we have as many kind of actors and characters in the scene as possible. So the final scene, the wedding scene that I got poisoned in, that was really fun because there were like 20 or so actors in that scene, and we all just hang out and get to know each other more, and that was the atmosphere that I liked the most. We kind of felt like it was a big family. Yeah, that was nice.
Hi, first off, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I'm fanatic, it's my favorite, so I'm really excited to be at the show. One of my favorite scenes in the show was back in season 2 when Tyrion saved Sansa from the abuse she was being inflicted on by you. So I'm wondering, how did that feel for you guys? Because you guys were all really powerful, and like it was just a really powerful scene, which is why I love it. So how was it like bringing that scene to life for you guys, for you and Peter and Sophie?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that scene. What it was.
You had first off you had the ham clapper, and then
and then he kind of steps in.
Yeah, and then Tyrion kind of steps in. So
is this the one where you said keep her face?
Yeah,
like
keep
her pretty.
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah, that's a messed up scene. I mean, it's yeah, like again, like stepping back objectively, I'm like, go Tyrion. You know, if I was watching, I'd be like, you know, come on, tell him or like kill him or do something like that. So definitely that was, I'm sure, a powerful scene to watch, because all you want, presumably, when Joffrey is running rampant with his power and control, is for him to be taken down a peg and to be just, you know, slapped around. Well, he does get slapped around. So I think, yeah, but I can't remember my experience with the scene. As I say, I remember feeling pretty bad about what Sophie had to go through, but she's a professional, and yeah, Peter plays that so well, like the kind of protective uncle, and it's weird then when like he has to marry her and it's uncomfortable.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
So, because of the character you played and how much Joffrey was hated, it was extremely satisfying seeing you get slapped. But it's not the first time that's happened in a movie, so my question is, who hits harder, Batman or Tyrion Lannister?
Batman! Did Batman slap me? Did he?
Yeah.
Did he?
It's all over the internet, we're all excited about
I
it.
think there's a bit, maybe, I think you might be thinking of a bit, in Batman Begins, where my character kind of gets pushed away, but that's not by Batman, that's by like one of Ra's al Ghul's, aka Liam Neeson's like cronies. I think they're like setting up the like spinny thingy majigger, and the cronies like, get away, you're just a kid. So that would maybe I need to go back to therapy, and it's like I'm forgetting about this traumatic memory of Batman slapping me. I can't remember that. Definitely, I'd say Tyrion slaps harder there, because he has all these rings on, and yeah, like when we did the first few slaps, we did it like a fake one, where like he didn't actually hit me, but it didn't look real, because it's hard to pretend, and so he was like, yeah, we're just gonna have to do it, and yeah, it was like after one take, Peter was like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to slap you. He was loath to do it, I'm sure. But no, it's just because of the rings. But you know, that's the life of being an actor. It's a pretty tough job.
Thank you.
No problem.
Speaking of Batman Begins, I mean, not only are you in the movie, but then you have a scene with Batman. I mean, were you freaking out? Were you the coolest kid in school? I mean, what was that like for you?
I mean, all those things combined, yeah, super cool. Yeah, I was like 10, so like imagine it being a 10-year-old like meeting Batman. And I was like, this is incredible. So I think I was probably a cool kid for like a day in school, and then I was put back to my lower status of quite low in the pile. But I was comfortable there, you know, because I could observe the people in the higher status, and I could learn from them, and you know, manipulate them for my means, like a spineless coward would. So I learned a lot from that experience. But meeting Batman was pretty cool. The one thing that was disappointing about meeting Batman was that at the end of one of the scenes, he kind of throws me like a telescope, kind of token of his meeting, and it was bullshit because it was just a hunk of plastic. I thought it would be like a cool telescope. I thought it would be a gadget. It was just a hunk of plastic, and I don't know if that was a joke Batman was playing on this vulnerable little child. I don't know if he was kind of laughing at that child, and if so, who was he laughing with? Was he laughing on his own? I don't know why he wanted to ridicule this child and raise his expectations. Oh, this child who has nothing, he's in a broken home. Let me raise, oh yeah, have this really cool gadget. Oh, wait a second, he's going to take that hope away from him. And I think that was Batman playing out his own internal kind of childhood trauma onto this child.
Of course he analyzes Batman. Of course. The Game of Thrones.
Look at Batman saying again.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a pretty messed up guy.
I forget now. No, and you mentioned earlier that Joffrey, you know, he's kind of a product of his times, but I was wondering, how much do you think is nature or nurture of Joffrey? Is he a product of his upbringing, or is it just incest making him crazy?
I think it's a bit of both, yeah, I actually don't know. I mean, I think you'd have to be a doctor, like a child psychologist, to fully give a proper answer. Yeah, I don't know if, like, being a product of incense? Yeah. Maybe they copulated with the smell of incense. But anyway, so maybe, yeah, maybe being a product of incest means that your brain, your frontal cortex or whatever, doesn't develop normally and you become slightly removed from actual things. Or maybe he's just like an asshole, or maybe he's like inherently an okay, normal kid, but he was manipulated by his surroundings and these awkward expectations of his father that kind of didn't really love him, and his manipulative mother. So I can't give you an answer, but the lab is working on it, and we're getting peer reviewed soon, and hopefully we can get the journal entry out ASAP.
Hi, my question has to do with something that happened in the latest season, so I'll do a small recap. In the end of the season, Cersei has her trial, which she did not go to, and instead she blows up the set, killing Marjorie. How do you think Joffrey would have reacted to this?
Spoilers, but...
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, he's a pretty weird relationship with his mum, doesn't he? So, I don't know. I think, I mean, when we left off, when Joffrey kind of died, it was definitely like an antagonistic relationship whereby he was trying to push his mother away as much as possible and trying to assert himself in his new role of authority and his, you know, just like all teenagers try to be. They try and be independent and they try to be separate from their parents and feel like they're grown up. So I don't know if that dynamic would have carried on, and if so, then he probably would have lost his SHIT at Cersei. Shit, that's spelled shit. So he probably, I don't know, it's an interesting thing. I think he has an interesting relationship with his mother. So maybe he would have like gone crazy at her and like locked her up or humiliated her, or maybe he would have sympathized with her and she might have manipulated him and kind of gotten her on her side, because he's a pretty malleable guy. So I think, but then he also kind of really liked Marjorie, so maybe that would have tipped him over the edge and he would have gone crazy and kind of been quite cruel and violent towards his mother, which wouldn't have been nice. Yeah, thank you. Okay. All right, that's good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, bye.
Hi, can you give us your best Joffrey impression right now?
She wants to give me my best Joffrey impression. Yes. And I see you have your phone out. And it's all funny, you're all laughing at me doing my impression. Well, that's not the case!
Oh my god! He's like, that was pretty good.
Hi, my question is, what's the weirdest encounter with a fan?
I sometimes get asked this question and I wish I had a better answer. You guys are too like nice and normal, nothing too crazy. Oh, I did have one. I did a convention in London about a month ago, and you kind of hear of this happening, but I never thought it would happen to me. Of like, someone's like, "Oh, can you sign my arm because I want to get it tattooed?" And I was like, "Whoa, that's so intense." So I hope she was joking or something, because even my signature isn't even that nice or whatever. So yeah, I really hope she didn't do that because I don't know. I don't think it'd be worth it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, she definitely did it.
I was wondering if there were any scenes where like the director would specifically tell you to like be nastier or be as much meaner.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly. And I you know, the character that you guys are entertained by, you know, it's 50% created by me, but 50% created by the director. It's important to keep in mind because I kind of go in with a blank slate and we really develop the character together. So yeah, I'm very much in the palm of the director's hands. I'm not sure if it was like, I was probably told to rein back the nastiness probably more than anything. It was like, just go crazy. It was like, Jack, it's just a show, you know, take it easy. Go, Jack, go. The scene's over. I'm flipping things over. Well, for instance, in the final episode, the kind of wedding episode, the director kind of gave me a direction to, try and be not so much more nasty, but more controlled and more subtly malevolent, like Cersei is or like Tywin is. Whereas before, I was kind of like a petulant, cranky child, whereas he wanted me to play it more adult and slightly more grown up and controlled, which might make it seem even more sinister. So yeah, I mean, definitely the directors were a massive part in teasing out those little dynamics.
Thank you.
No worries.
That idea is that time has come. We have time for just a couple of more questions, okay?
Your Grace. We have a lot of fun watching bloopers, outtake reels, and whatnot. Somebody messes up, has a good laugh. Did you ever have an experience where that ended the exact opposite way, with a director like losing it completely on somebody screwing up?
Oh, like a negative thing? No, not at all. Thankfully not. No, I mean, even like there weren't even a lot of mistakes. You know, like people kind of came to the set and they knew their lines, and so there weren't a lot of kind of mistakes on the part of the actor. Like I remember, the kind of only major like mess up that I kept doing. There was a scene in which I say I'm trying to intimidate Tywin, and I say something about Casterly Rock. Is that how you say it? Casterly Rock. But in the accent I put on, I say Casterly Rock. And I just couldn't get my head around, so I kept saying Crasterly Rock, you know, Crasterly, Crastickly, or whatever. And, you know, it's kind of funny for a few times, and then people are kind of like, just say the effing, say the fucking word. But in general, no, thankfully people are pretty professional. And yeah, we didn't have any kind of major mess-ups. Yeah, sure. No worries.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
I just wanted to ask on a separate note for your thing, two things. Your name is Jack Gleeson. I love old comedy from back in the day, so Jackie Gleeson was another person I always researched as for comedy.
fork in the road for going to Game of Thrones, was there something else that maybe would have brought you to another show or another movie at the time that you would have done Game of Thrones?
No, I was wide open. It wasn't like, yeah, it's like, oh, you know, will I do that HBO show? And I was like, please let me be in the show. I have nothing else to do. So yeah, that was definitely, maybe I pretended to like improve my contract. I was like, oh, yeah, I could do it if I wanted to do it, if you like, you know, give me more money or whatever. But no, I was saying to my manager just the other day that like, I literally was overwhelmed that they even wanted to pay me. I was just like, I'll do this show for free, man. I was like so pumped. I was so overwhelmed and so happy that I got the part, so definitely not. And was your other question about influences or just the name Jack Gleeson? Yeah, well, Jackie Gleeson, well, he actually spells it G-L-E-A, and I spell it G-L-E-E. Yeah, well, I didn't know he was Irish. Apparently he's Irish, but well, it's kind of weird though, isn't it? I've never watched The Honeymooners, but I think it's like his character kind of like does a lot of domestic abuse, which is just kind of messed up. So I think it's pretty good that that show isn't on the air anymore. So maybe you should rethink your comedy influences and push away the domestic abuse.
Okay, that looks like we have one last one here.
Hey, how you doing? Good. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, eh?
Thank you. About, you want some coffee? Anyway. So, love hating your character. Get that out there. If there was a character you could play in any movie in the past, what would it be and why?
Ooh, good question. Hard question, but good question.
That'd be the last one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, was I watching something recently that I thought I would be good in? I can't remember. I mean, for some reason, I love TV and I love movies, so there's too many to pick from. But for some reason, something came into my head there. Oh, actually, what? Well, this is a silly answer. But there's an Irish movie that came out recently called Sing Street. It's a small movie. Have you guys seen it? That's crazy. Yeah, there you go. It's a small movie. It's about like a young band in Dublin. Anyway, there's a kind of an older brother character in it who's kind of like a stoner, like philosophy, kind of lazy, dropout guy who comes up with all these like kind of pretentious phrases. I was watching it on the plane over, and I was kind of like, oh, I think I would have been good in that role. So that's not an incredibly like you know, well-known film or part, or even that kind of challenging a part. But when I was watching, I was like, that would be cool to play.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, thanks so much for all your questions, you guys. And Jack, thanks so much for being here. I've done a lot of panels. You were funny.
Thank you very much. Thank you. New stage guy.
Oh my god. I was like, I can't.